Back here at Bob Wren Stadium, the Southern Ohio Copperheads will be hosting the Cincinnati Steam. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, Tim Hanna, Sedric, Granger. Sedric, tough loss on Friday to the Hamilton Joes. What kind of things does the team need to do today to get it done here at home?
Well, the Bats got to come alive, Tim. I mean, over these past couple of games, the output on scoring has not been great. We had 3 runs against the Jazz. They had 6 runs against the Mariners. A couple of those runs did come due to errors made by the Mariners, and then only 1 run from the Joes. Now, those teams all have some of the best pitching staffs in the league, so it's going to be a tough out to be able to get those type of runs. But today, I just want to see them bounce back, get a couple of hits out there, and then finish. If they can get about to 5 or 6 runs, I think that could really help them to be able to potentially win this game. But the Cincinnati Steam, they've really had the Copperheads number, but they're coming in with 6 straight losses, so could be an opportunity for the Copperheads to get them while they're down.
Sean Peck on the mound today for the Copperheads. We will be right back. We'll take a quick break, and then after that, first pitch is on its way. You're watching Southern Ohio Copperheads baseball on YouTube.
Now batting for the Steam, number 8, Tommy Thamen.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yep, so should be Thamen.
First up for the Cincinnati Steam will be center fielder Tommy Thamen. Tommy Thamen, one of the best bats in the entire GLSCL, as he sends that one first pitch into the gap between first and second. So 1 pitch, 1 hit for Tommy Thamen.
Yep, no surprise there from Tommy Thamen getting that. But Cincinnati Steam have dominated the Copperheads in the season series. They have won the first game 15-8. Josh Steidel, though, had a great game that day with 2 home runs. And then Cincinnati Steam ended up mercy ruling the Copperheads as well. So what I want to see is the Copperheads coming out here and come with the mentality where, hey, it doesn't matter what team you're facing, even though this team has beaten you twice, they're not that much better than you. You guys can beat this team, and I hope that Coach Lanning's preaching that mindset there in the dugout.
Steam on a 6-game losing streak, as you mentioned, Sedric, in the pregame show. So we've seen teams go on rolls of really highs and really lows. Copperheads, unfortunately, one of those teams that fell victim to the really low. There's a shot over to Jordan Long at first base for the first out, but Thamen will advance to second on the steal attempt. On the mound today for the Copperheads, Sean Peck. Peck, a couple decent starts on the year this year, was plagued by some defensive errors in his last start. Defense rather. It's very similar to what we've seen in past games. Mitch Class, Mason Nadolny on the corners, Jordan Long and Maverick Stallings in the middle of the infield. Outfield, Trey Rucker, Kyle Ratliff, Ian Crump gets the start today in right field. First pitch to Rowe in there for a strike. Brennan Rowe, Northern Kentucky University, hitting 300 on the year. Runner on second with 1 out. The 0-1 from Peck. Inside part of the plate. Ball number 1. Matt Friesen behind the dish today for the Copperheads, catching for Peck. Josh Steidel and Sebastian Silva will have the day off today. 1-1 to Brennan Rowe. Keck throws back, or fakes the throw back rather, to the mound. Quick chance for Rowe to catch his breath. Peck will reset. Looks back at second and delivers the 1-1. That low outside part of the plate, it'll be 2-1 for Brennan Rowe.
Yeah, one of the interesting things to keep note of, Tim, we had this game start an hour early, and this is due to the weather that might be pending. So for both the Copperheads and Steam, they're hoping that this game can get to 5 innings at least. That's what it needs to at least be able to call it a game.
Bit of an overcast here in southeast Ohio today. 83 degrees at first pitch as there's a shot that gets past Maverick Stallings. And Tommy Thamen will come across to score. Will be an RBI single for Brennan Rowe. Quick run for the Cincinnati Steam in this one. Really solid contact hitting from the entire lineup, Sedric.
Yeah, and this is something we've not only seen this game, but also in the last 2 games as well. It just seems like the bats have come alive for the Steam whenever they're facing the Copperheads.
Number 51, William John, takes that one in there for a strike. Or a ball, rather. 1-0 to John. John hitting .346 on the year, 7 RBIs. So a really solid season from him as well. Second pitch, also low, 2-0. Crowd starting to trickle in here now as we approach the original game time for this. 2-0 is high, make it 3-0. Sean Peck trying to get himself into a bit of a rhythm here. Only 1 out, 2 hits for the Cincinnati Steam, and 1 run. Peck delivers a 3-0. In there for a strike. Brennan Rowe threatening a steal there on first base, so Friesen had to keep him honest.
Exactly. Sean Peck moving into a starting position role on this team as he played a lot of relief earlier on in the year, but kind of transitioned here to starting.
3-1 is fouled back into the net, so it'll be full count now for William John. 1 out here in the top of the first. Cincinnati Steam take a 1-0 lead, courtesy of an RBI single from Brennan Rowe. Scored Tommy Thaman, the full count. Just high. So John will move down to first. Rowe advances to second. Catcher Luke Huon will step in now after he gets all the catcher's gear off. Huon hit .293 on the year, 11 RBIs. 3 of those coming in the first game against the Copperheads. Went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs in that neutral site game in Richmond.
Yeah, we'll have a 4th of July game coming up against the Cincinnati Steam, which will be played at one of the Reds' youth ballparks, which should be very fun.
Really excited to go see that ballpark here in a couple weeks. First pitch to Huon, taken for strike 1. Runners on second and third, 1 out. Cincinnati Steam lead at 1-0 here in the top of the first. Sean Peck looking to work himself out of a bit of a jam here. Try and settle in. The 0-1 is swung on and missed for strike number 2. 0-2 now. Comfortable spot for Sean Peck. Anything in the infield. Do their best to get a double play ball on that. Outfield fly ball will likely advance the runners. The 0-2 pitch. Low. Friesen doing a nice job keeping that ball in front of him. Using his chest, as we kind of talked about during the Hamilton game the other day. Catchers using their good catching technique, using that upper part of their chest and their shoulders to kind of block that ball and bump it. That way it stays in front of him.
That's right, Tim. And I think getting that lower angle on the field that we had at Hamilton, it allowed not only the viewers but also ourselves as well to be able to see the technique that a lot of catchers have. And again, the catching group for the Copperheads is one of our strongest groups, and I've loved being able to see them go to work throughout the year.
Bit of an interesting perspective down there at Hamilton. The 2-2 pitch. Shot out into the left field gap. Brennan Rowe will come across to score on the RBI single from Luke Huon. William John advances to second base.
Now batting for the Steam, number 24,
Huon
Hayden
on
Christensen.
first. Hayden Christensen will step up into the box after Coach Lanning comes out to the mound to have a visit with his starting pitcher.
Yeah, Tim, it's been a tough start. This is very similar to some of the other matchups we had against the Cincinnati Steam this year. This is the second or third of 5 matchups on the year for these two teams. So they're not going to be seeing each other a lot in July since they've gotten a lot of their matchups out of the way here. But they've really been a lot of trouble for the Copperheads. They have put up at least 12 runs in every single game against the Copperheads, and they've definitely been a problem for the Copperheads to deal with. And again, with this being the 3rd game in the series, and this could be a pretty critical tiebreaker, you got to win 3 out of these 5 if you want the tiebreaker. If not, you're going to be forced to finish ahead of them in the standings if you want to get the better of them when it comes down to the rankings.
Christensen now in the box. Work against Sean Peck. First pitch in there for a strike. A little bit interesting, the walk-up music they chose for Hayden Christensen, the Imperial March. Shout out to all the Star Wars fans out there.
And like I said last time, you can't underestimate his power. Yeah, the guys up in the booth over there with the PA, and shout out Ethan Sargent, one of our 3rd members of our broadcast crew. He was getting a lot of joy out of that.
Shot out there into right field. Crump will make a play on it, but another run will come across for the Cincinnati Steam, who now take a 3-0 lead. William John scores on the RBI single from Hayden Christensen. So now the 7th batter of this inning, Harrison Barnes, will come in. Cincinnati Steam with 101, now make it 104 runs scored on the year. Copperheads sitting in last place in the league of total runs with 69. So bit of a difference between, Steam sitting somewhere in the middle as far as runs scored, and Copperheads all the way at the bottom.
Has been a very stark difference there, and I think we've had some games where they ended up being shorter. We haven't played as many games as the Steam as well. I mean, you had 2 games get canceled due to rain, and you played less innings overall than the Cincinnati Steam as well. So that could be a reasoning for that total. But nevertheless, Copperheads definitely need to get a little bit more out of the bats, and then also hold back the Steam, try to keep it at only 3 for this inning here so that you can be able to at least keep yourself in the game.
4-pitch walk for Harrison Barnes. Now the bases are loaded as Joshua Hagman steps in. Oh, Luke Hammond, rather. The number 8 hitter, freshman infielder from Xavier, will step in. With only 1 out, 3 runs already across the plate. First pitch from Peck in there for a strike. Peck seems to be able to find the strike zone on his first pitch. It's that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pitch that sometimes seems he's been struggling with today.
It has, and I think the Steam, they're a team right now that's very determined to just get back in the win column. The Copperheads also know what it's like to have a 6-game losing streak, as they had one, and they came out against the Mariners and really came out with a sort of attitude and set a sort of tone that can get you a victory. They were out there, they were making a good hits early, they got the lead and didn't really vacate that lead for the rest of the game, and I feel like the Steam are going to try to do the same. But for the Copperheads, this is a good chance to be able to continue to fight, and they're going to have to fight early because I have a feeling that not all 9 innings will be played as thunderstorms are on the way, so kind of a race against time a little bit.
Got him looking, strike 3, Sean Peck gets his first strikeout of the day.
Now batting for the Steam,
Sort of a
number 6,
reset
Joshua Hagman.
there on that one, Sedric. He got it done in just 4 pitches, and something he definitely needed to kind of get back in the groove of things here with the bases loaded.
100%, especially after you've had a couple of batters get on in a row just to get that second out. You just know you're so close to being out of this inning.
Strike number 1 in there for now the number 9 hitter, Joshua Hagman, University of Cincinnati. Peck, the 0-1. Shot out into left field and back behind the dugout, or the bullpen rather. 0-2 for Hagman. So Cincinnati Steam leading things here 3-0. The 0-2 check swing. Did he go? Umpire says no. So 1-2 for Hagman. Hagman's able to stay alive on that one. 1-2 pitch from Peck. Just got a piece of that one back into the fence. So we'll do it again here at 1-2. We didn't get a chance to go over the batting lineups for the Cincinnati Steam today pregame, but
you're getting to see the whole thing.
Seen all 9 batters for the Steam. Peck the 1-2. Another foul ball down that left field line over into the bullpen.
Yeah, a bit of a body clock game for both squads, especially the Steam having to drive about 2 hours and 30 minutes on a bus to be able to get to a 12:35 or start. I mean, that's pretty tough.
It is. Well, Sedric, you and I were also both in Cincinnati last night, taking our personal day yesterday because of the off day, and it was a bit of an early morning. You and I got a text about 8 o'clock this morning notifying us of the game change. So it was a bit of a race against the clock for us as well to make sure that we were back in time to take care of things today. The 1-2 pitch. Got him looking. Strike number 3. Sean Peck works himself out of that second jam. Leaves 3 runners on, but 3 runners do come across. When we return, we will see the top of the order for the Copperheads: Trey Rucker, Mason Nadolny, and Kyle Ratliff. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Bottom of the first inning, presented by Ohio Health and Larry's Doghouse. Thank you to Ohio Health and Larry's Doghouse for all you do to support the Copperheads.
This year, the Copperheads are also proud to announce that we're almost exclusively
back here for the bottom of the first. Jacob Marlowe will be on the mound. Another familiar arm for the Copperheads.
Yeah, he matched up against the Copperheads in their first matchup in neutral side action at McBride Stadium. He went 3 innings, allowed 2 runs, only one of them earned, only allowed 3 hits overall, and had a pretty solid pitching performance against the Copperheads. When he left the game, they were up 10-2, and he ended up getting the win for that day. And he also has a win against the Jazz and lost against the Joes, so he's 2-1 on the season with 3 appearances.
Tough for any starting pitcher to get a win against the Hamilton Joes, one of the best rotations really in this entire league that we've seen up to this point this year. All 5 of those guys, 4 or 5 of those guys that they could put out there on any given night, just go out there and sling it.
It is. Between Dome, Leisure, Wilsbach, I mean, the names just go down. They're just endless with dangerous pitchers on the Hamilton Joes. So, again, that's what impressed me about the Copperheads, being able to steal a game there early in the season, especially on the road. Now they're down 1-2 in that series, but at least it gives you a shot to be able to potentially win that series in what could be an important tiebreaker, which according to these standings, I feel like tiebreakers are really going to hold a lot of importance. We look at the GLSCL South, and you see pretty much a gridlock in teams between 7 and 9 losses, which is second through seventh place. So the Copperheads really not that far out of it. They're going to have to win this game, though. If they don't win, I think there's going to be some really tough separation here because Copperheads, they'd fall to 5 and 10. Steam would be 8 and 9. The Steam would be the sixth place team. So you would be about 3.5 games behind the team in front of you, which would be pretty tough at the bottom. So Copperheads really got to put it together here.
Trey Rucker will lead things off for the Copperheads here in the bottom of the first, trailing 3-0. Takes ball number 1. Trey Rucker hitting 324 on the year, 5 RBIs. Went 1 for 2 with a walk against the Hamilton Joes before being ejected in that game. Situation was discussed between the team and league officials, and it was determined that nothing malicious behind what happened in Hamilton, just an accidental error rather. So Trey Rucker was not suspended, which is fantastic for the Copperheads as he's one of their premier leadoff guys, as William John will come into foul territory and snag that ball for the first out.
Batting for the Copperheads, number 23, Mason Nadolny.
Mason Nadolny now stepping into the box. Nadolny hit 387 on the year, one of the highest in the league. Junior third baseman, Concordia St. Paul. First pitch, swinging, fouled just down that third baseline for strike number 1.
Nadolny jumping back into the lineup after having a little bit of a break in the last game. And after 2 days off, it's great to see him back in the lineup. And we'll see if he can continue to force high pitch counts amongst pitchers. He's kind of followed a little bit in the footsteps of what Mitch Klass has been doing to pitchers as of lately.
Both guys really good at working that count. I think we were talking before the game started, Mitch Klass, I believe in his 4 plate appearances against Hamilton the other day, went full, worked it to a full count in all 4 of those at-bats. So able to battle and really be patient in that batter's box.
Yep, we'll see him, Mitch Klass, at 7th. He'll be batting 7th for the Copperheads today, and we'll go over that full lineup after the action here with this at-bat.
The 1-2 to Klass. Swing and a miss. So Nadolny rather will go down on strikes. That leaves 2 outs for Kyle Ratliff.
Now
Trying to
batting
get
for the
things going
Copperheads,
again.
number 2, Kyle
Bats have gone
Ratliff.
for Kyle Ratliff, but I know he, as well as a lot of his teammates, are working hard to kind of get out of that slump, maybe make a couple adjustments as necessary. First pitch, fouled back.
And when you're dealing with great pitchers, which the Copperheads have had to these last couple of weeks, dealing with ace guys like Marlowe is a UCF guy, so again, plays really tough competition, and coming back here for Summer League, he makes it tough out for a lot of these batters, especially since a lot of these pitchers were shaking the rust off. So now the bats were really going to have to adjust to how great the pitchers are in the league now.
Kyle Ratliff takes strike number 2. Quickly 0-2, or 1-2 for Kyle Ratliff. 1-2, swung on and missed. Kyle Ratliff will go down on strikes. That's 2 strikeouts on the day for Jacob Marlowe. When we return, it will be the top of the order. Tommy Thaman,
Hello, fans.
Drew
If you'd direct your
Klasner,
attention to the first
and
baseline,
Brennan
see
Rowe.
Ian and a lucky
You're
bag
listening
convenience
to
in today's
Copperheads
Ambassador
Baseball
lingerie. Go
on
ahead, Ian.
YouTube. Back here in the top of the second inning. Top of the second inning is brought to you by Jackie O's. For Copperheads fans over the age of 21, highly recommend trying out that Homer's Hazy IPA. First pitch to Tommy Thaman here in the top of the second. Missed on that outside part of the plate for ball number 1.
Thaman had a first pitch single to start the game off for the Steam and really set the tone.
Second pitch in there for a ball as well. So 2-0. Where Tommy Thaman. Peck looks on. Delivers the 2-0. Just missing that outside part of the plate. So it'll be 3-0 for Tommy Thaman. Tommy Thaman, one of the highest batting average, actually the highest batting average in the GLSCL. Peck delivers a strike there. 3-1 is the count.
Yeah, and having a high batting average at this point just really showcases how you have the ability to adjust to the type of pitching that you're dealing with. And a lot of players that have started off really hot on the year have had their fair share of slumps, which makes sense. It's how baseball works. You're going to have your times where you're hot, and then you're going to have the times where you're cold as well. But again, to have a steady guy like that in the lineup who's been able to kind of stave off those slumps is absolutely critical for the Cincinnati Steam.
Payoff pitch. Did he go? Yes, he did. That's a strikeout for Sean Peck. His second strikeout, third strikeout of the day. And gets out number 1 here in the top of the second.
Starting pitchers for the Copperheads have done pretty well with strikeouts. We saw 8 from Walter. We saw 7 from Williams yesterday, or 2 days ago, rather. So we'll see if Sean Peck can try for that 7 or 8.
First pitch to Drew Klassner is fouled down that left field line for strike number 1.
First time Klassner was up, he hit into a fielder's choice, which ended up advancing Thaman, but he was out.
Back delivers. And fouled again in that same spot. So 0-2 quickly for Drew Klassner. Bob Wren starting to fill up here in the top of the second now as we're now right at the original start time for this game, 1:05. Back the 0-2. Chopper to Maverick Stallings. Throw over to Class at first, in time. Klassner goes down on the 6-3 ground out. 2 outs for the Copperheads, and a much better start this inning, Sedric, than we saw in that last inning.
Most certainly. Sean Peck is the type of pitcher where, again, even if things happen early on, he can be able to work his way through it. We saw him go 4 innings against the Hamilton Joes, and, of course, that was a tough matchup against the Joes, but the Copperheads were able to prevail thanks a lot to the pitching of Sean Peck. So no surprise that even though things happen early, he's able to bounce back a little bit this inning.
First pitch to Brennan Rowe is low for ball number 1.
Last time Rowe was up, he singled.
Scored the first run of the game. Got Tommy Thaman across the plate. Second pitch in there for a strike, so it'll be 1-1 for Brennan Rowe. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 0-2, or 1-2. Sean Peck will try and pitch himself out of this inning. 1-2 pitch. Great job framing that by Friesen. Just didn't get the look he wanted. 2-2. And Peck will try it again. 2-2 pitch. Shot out into the center field gap. Kyle Ratliff will pick that one up. And Brennan Rowe now 2 singles on the day. First hit of this inning gets him on first base for William John. Peck looks back at first. Delivers the first pitch on that outside part of the plate for ball number 1.
John has a walk on the day, and then he was driven in by Hayden Christensen.
ball chopped down the right field line. Foul. 1-1. First base coach for the Cincinnati Steam making a nice play there. Barehanded. Love to see that when the coach is.
Many of these coaches were players back in their day, of course, and most of the time it's for the team that they work for.
1-1. Friesen, the throw down back to first. The tag, not in time. So it'll be 2-1 for William John. Ball missed on that outside part of the plate. Peck gets the signal from Friesen. Runner goes. Shot out into left field. Trey Rucker drifting over. That ball will go into the bullpen. We'll do it again here at 1-2. Brennan Rowe will go back over to first base.
Yeah, Coach Dickey, the head coach for the Cincinnati Steam, is his first season as a head coach, but he also spent time as the pitching coach for the team. And since he was 10 years old, he dreamed for playing for the Cincinnati Steam, and he ended up playing on the squad for 2 years and is now winning as a coach.
Shot out into the right field gap. Brennan Rowe going over to second. John legging one out. It'll be a double. And Brennan Rowe, the throw in home, not in time. So that will be an RBI double for William John. Run comes across here for the Cincinnati Steam.
Seems like the Steam just know where to hit the ball. They just find those spots where Copperheads just simply aren't there.
Hodges playing a normal position over there in right field, not out of position by any stretch of imagination, in a good spot. And John there just able to find that gap where he or Ratliff not able to get there in time. So that will bring the number 5 hitter, 26, Luke Huon, junior catcher, St. Leo College, up to the plate with a runner on and 2 outs. First pitch is high for ball number 1.
Now the good news here, Tim, is that Sean Peck has 2 outs to work with, so if he can be able to just get one more here, they can end the inning with only 1 run given up.
Huon awaits the 1-0. Back at second, delivers in there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1 for Luke Huon.
I'd like to compliment the crowd today, as it is technically beach day. Starting a little bit earlier than originally planned, but that is the theme, and the playlist starting to reflect that a little bit.
1-1 pitch to Huon is low. It'll be 2-1 for Huon.
So getting a bit of a cooler day as well than what we've had in some other games.
Still a little bit muggy in the air. You can tell the storm is coming, but not too bad of a day for baseball. Shot out into center field. Ratliff underneath it. Makes the play. So the Cincinnati Steam will leave one on, but they get a run across the plate. When we return for the bottom of the second, it'll be Gunnar Aldridge, Maverick Stallings, and Jordan Long.
Take a look over for Ian on the first base dugout where he selected lucky contestant to compete.
back here in the bottom of the second inning. Bottom of the second inning is brought to you by Steak and Shake.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 12, Gunnar Aldridge.
Step up to the plate for the Copperheads.
I want to apologize. We're having some issues with the microphone. We'll try to fix that here momentarily, but Gunnar Aldridge is up to bat, and he hits one in between first and second. It's fielded at second by the Steam, and in time for out number 1. So 4 straight runners have been retired by the Cincinnati Steam, as Marlowe's been pitching a pretty solid game, but that'll bring up Maverick Stallings, one of the newest members of the Copperheads. And if I recall right, he made his first ever start against the Cincinnati Steam back in that game last weekend.
Maverick Stallings, bit of a rough day at the plate against the Hamilton Joes, 0 for 4. Just couldn't really get things going offensively, as was the case for much of the team. But I just think that everybody, when we got on that bus in Hamilton, everybody was fairly confident that they can get back into it. And we've seen that all season with these guys being able to just battle and continue to go back to work after some rough games. Stallings swings on the 1-1. 1 and 2 for Maverick Stallings. Pitch is outside. Make it 2 and 2 for Maverick Stallings. Jordan Long awaits on the on-deck circle. Full count now for Maverick Stallings.
Copperheads looking for hit number 1, just trying to make something happen here.
Full count is fouled back behind the press box here. So we'll do it again full for Maverick Stallings, working against Jacob Marlowe. Payoff pitch chopped to the second baseman. Klasner makes the play for the second out. So Maverick Stallings and Gunnar Aldridge both going down on the 4-3 round out. Jordan Long will step into the box to try and get things going now for the Copperheads.
Yep, and to say the best of the rest of the lineup here, Mitch Klass, Ian Crump, Matt Friesen will also be in the lineup today for the Copperheads, switching it up. No Josh Steidel today.
First pitch from Jordan Long, swung on and missed.
Also like to welcome all the Cincinnati Steam fans joining us on the live stream.
The 0-1 is fouled back, so it'll be 0-2 with 2 outs here for Jordan Long. Copperheads searching for that first hit of the game so far. Trying to get things going offensively. The 0-2, did he go? He did not. So ball number 1, make it a 1-2 count here in the bottom of the second.
Jordan Long had a pretty solid game his last time out against the Joes, went 2 for 4.
The 0-2 on that outside part of the plate, but swung on and missed. So the Copperheads will go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the second. When we return, the top of the third inning, we'll see Hayden Christensen, Harrison Barnes, and Luke Hammond. You're listening to Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Back here in the top of the third inning. Top of the third inning brought to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Top of the third inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. New pitcher for the Copperheads will be Jake Jordan, Southern Union Community College. The big right-hander. Pitch is outside for ball number 1.
So the pitcher going out, Sean Peck, he ended up with 2 innings pitched, allowed 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 4 runs, all of them earned.
The 2-0 pitch to chopped over to first base. Maverick Stallings makes the play for out number 1. Just got word that number 6, Joshua Hageman, has been ejected from this game, and he will be replaced in this game by number 29, Jeffrey Butler, out there in right field. Wait for official confirmation on what the ejection was for. Not sure what it could have been, but when we find out, we will pass that information along to you. We've seen now 2 ejections in 2 games. So there's a shot out to right field. Barnes makes solid contact on that one and is aboard at first base.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. You don't see ejections too often. We didn't see any through the first 13 games of the Copperhead season. Now we see it 2 games in a row.
Now batting for the Steam, number 12, Luke Hammond.
So Luke Hammond will step in with a runner on first. 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Cincinnati Steam holding a 4-0 lead. Jake Jordan kicks and deals. Swing and a miss from Luke Hammond.
Last time Luke Hammond was up, he was struck out looking by Sean Peck. Now gets to deal with a different pitcher this time, and Jake Jordan.
Throw over to first, not in time, more just to keep the runner honest. So we'll do it again here at 0-1. Luke Hammond will wait on that. The 0-1 is high. Make it 1-1 for Hammond.
Yep, Steam's most recent game was against the Scouts, and they fell in that game 10-6. Also had a couple of other really close losses, including one to the Jazz at McBride Stadium, 4-5.
Runner goes. Jake Jordan, easy throw back, loses it. Kind of a weird throw back over, and Harrison Barnes just kind of crept up, and I don't think Friesen saw him. I don't think Jake Jordan saw him, and then a bit of a quick, odd throw from Jake Jordan, and not able to make the play was Jordan Long on that. So it'll be a stolen base for Harrison Barnes here on the 1-1 count to Luke Hammond.
Yeah, a bit of a tough break there as we saw Barnes pretty much 3/4 of the way to the plate by the time they were able to turn around and try to make the throw.
Jordan delivers the 1-1. Shot out into right field. Barnes gets the stop sign at third, so that will be a single for Luke Hammond.
I already see 8 hits by the Cincinnati Steam. They've had a bunch of singles, and it's really been a lot of these. They're really dinking and dunking right now in terms of getting these hits instead of getting a bunch of doubles and triples. You're seeing just a lot of singles, but the singles have been working out for the Steam a lot, and they've been getting players on and now have runners on the corners.
So now number 29, Jeffrey Butler, will come in relief of Joshua Hagman, who's been ejected from this game. Shows bunt, takes strike number 1. Jordan looks on. The 0-1 pitch. Chopped right back to him. Throw over to first in time. So he'll get He'll get Butler at first, and
Thank you very much.
Luke Hammond will advance to second.
Now batting for the Steam, number 8.
Tommy Thaman comes up now with 2 outs.
Thaman, winner of the GLSCL Player of the Week during Week 2, following up Josh Steidl's Week 1 award.
Jake Jordan looks on. First pitch low, that low part of the plate, so strike, or ball number 1 rather, for Tommy Thaman. Tommy Thaman, a single and a strikeout here today, both against Sean Peck. This will be his first at-bat against Jake Jordan. 1-0. High for ball number 2. Runners on second and third. Here with 2 outs in the top of the third. Cincinnati Steam holding a comfortable 4-0 lead off 8 hits and no errors from the Copperheads. Jake Jordan pitches in there for a strike. Makes the count 1-2. 2-1. Working against Tommy Thaman. Tommy Thaman, one of the best batting averages in the league. We'll likely see him at the GLSC All-Star Game. Shot into the gap, past the outstretched glove of Maverick Stallings. Trey Rucker, the throw home, not in time. So that's a 2 RBI single for Tommy Thaman, and the Cincinnati Steam will take a 6-0 lead here now, still in the top of the third with 2 outs.
Yeah, if there was any player that was going to be able to do that on the Cincinnati Steam, it's Tommy Thaman. His average now is above 400 at this point after his 2-for-2 start to today.
So in the box now. Big swing and a miss from Drew Klassener.
Klassener hit into a fielder's choice back in the first inning, and then in the second inning, he grounded out.
Music's over there. Sorry. Second pitch to Klassener in there for a strike, so 0-2 for Drew Klassener. Today, grounded into a fielder's choice, and then a 6-3 for him. So looking for his first base hit of the day. Jake Jordan looks on, the 0-2, chop to Jordan Long. Easily fielded, toss over to Mitch Klass at first for the 3rd out of the inning. But another really productive inning from the Cincinnati Steam as they put 2 more on. 9 hits on the day to get those 6 runs. And the Copperheads still looking for their first run of the afternoon. When we return, you're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads baseball on YouTube. The bottom of the third inning, presented by Eclipse Company Store. Thank you to Eclipse. Mitch Class will step in to the box now for the Copperheads, and Copperheads still have not made it through the lineup all the way yet, and the Cincinnati Steam are starting their third time through the lineup, so 2 different offensive performances so far this game. The 1-0 to Class in there for a strike. Make it 1-1 to Mitch Class.
Yeah, for each of these teams, one team is like fire, the other team is like ice right now in terms of the bats, really contrasting in a lot of ways. As you see, 9 hits on the day from the Steam. And Copperheads is trying to work to get through this order here, was Class, Crump, and Friesen are due up this inning. So your 7, 8, and 9 batters.
The 1-1 is fouled back, make it 1-2 for Mitch Class. Sends that one back over to the Copperheads dugout.
Come on, Copperheads! Move it!
I think one good thing, Tim, as well, is that with the weather and what it looks like right now, the Copperheads may have all 9 innings in this game to potentially get a comeback going.
Class trying to see that one all the way through. Got a piece of it, so he'll get another chance here at 1-2. Weather, as you said, Cedric, behaving today. Sun's starting to come out a little bit. The 1-2 pitch. Just on that inside part of the plate, but Class able to stay alive. Something he is so good at in the batter's box. A really patient hitter. A guy that won't go out and chase something, knows his strike zone as he goes down on strikes in that one. And that is the 4th strikeout today for Jacob Marlowe, someone, Cedric, you and I talked about, not optimal for the Copperheads to see on the mound today. Had his way with us in his last appearance.
Yeah, and the Copperheads, I feel like just not only in the Copperhead season, but also the GLSCL, you see a lot of the same pitchers pitch against the same team. If the coaches see, hey, this pitcher did really well against this team, let's put him out there again and see if they have anything to counter him. Because we saw Maudsley get the start for the Copperheads against the Jazz in the 2 times that he's gotten to play against the Jazz. And then you've also had situations, too, where you had Leisure on the Joes, who pitched twice against the Copperheads, and now we're seeing it from Marlowe pitching twice against the Copperheads. So again, these coaches know which players might match up better against certain lineups, and if it worked for them the first time, why not stick with it into the next matchup?
And with 2 games against the Cincinnati, or the Xenia Scouts, rather, coming up later this week, it's likely the Copperheads will see Garrett DeClue again on the mound. 1-2 pitch to Ian Crump. Swung on and missed, so he'll go down on strikes. That's 5 now for Marlowe.
Yep,
and the Copperheads.
8 straight batters retired now. Yeah.
Matt Friesen will come in for the Copperheads. Hit in that number 9 spot today. Catching, working behind the dish on defense.
Copperheads, though, play the Steam today and then get 2 days off, as they're currently in a stretch where they're only playing 1 game in 4 days before it starts to ramp up with 2 games in 1 day, with that doubleheader against the Scouts coming up on the 30th. But on Wednesday, it'll be against the Jazz at McBride Stadium. Always love being able to be there at that historic field. And then we'll have the Scouts in a doubleheader, which will be a 14-inning day. We have 2 7-inning games, and then the Mariners at the end of the week at home, as the Copperheads are gearing up for a nice homestand over the weekend.
Always great when the Copperheads are at home, especially when you get nice weather on the weekend. These fans love to come out here. We got a nice matinee Sunday crowd here. The entire lower bowl pretty much filled up. Not too many people in the upper bleachers, but still a very nice crowd today. I believe the Freemasons are here today as well.
Yep, always enjoy seeing groups of people that are getting together for the group sales.
Friesen has worked this count full here with 2 outs, so he'll see what he can work with, as Marlowe will look on, kick deal, the payoff pitch. Swung on and just foul down that first base line. Friesen got a good look at that one and just wasn't able to get the bat around quick enough to put that ball in play. But a good look, and if he can find that timing again from Marlowe, he will more than likely put that ball into play. Friesen, a 154 hitter this year, has 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a pair of stolen bases as well. The payoff pitch inside. Oh, rung him up for strike number 3, and I'm not sure about that one, but that's 3 strikeouts in the inning, and Copperheads have been retired 9 in a row, still looking for their first hit. Jacob Marlowe in control of this game. So when we return, it will be the Cincinnati Steam trying to extend their lead again. In the top of the 4th, we'll see Brennan Rowe, William John, and Luke Huon. You're listening to Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Back here for the top of the 4th inning. Top of the 4th inning brought to you by Larry's Doghouse. You get a chance to come out to the ballpark here. Highly, highly recommend the Copperheads Crunch Dog. Cedric and I love getting them before the game, and thank you to Larry's Doghouse for providing those for Copperhead staff and fans and for everybody to enjoy. First pitch to Brennan Rowe in there for a ball on that inside part of the plate. Oh, a strike. No. There's a shot to Maverick Stallings. Makes the throw over to Class in time for the first out. So a quick out, something the Copperheads desperately need if they'd like to stay in this game.
I agree, Tim. I agree. I mean, Brennan Rowe was a guy who's had his way today. Had a pair of singles, pair of runs, but it's great to see the Copperheads work and retire him this time.
So it'll be William John now. Takes strike number 1.
William John with a walk, a double, and a run on the day.
Swing and a miss there from John. Now down 0-2 with 1 out, no runners on here in the top of the 4th. Cincinnati Steam lead this game 6-0. Here at Bob Wren Stadium, a little matinee baseball action. Jake Jordan kicks the 0-2. Sent out into center field, so that'll be another single for William John.
Yep, that makes 10 hits now for the Cincinnati Steam as right now the bats are about as hot as can be. It seems like every 3 or 4 pitches they're getting one out there into shallow center, shallow left, or shallow right. They've really been mixing it around. If you get the spray chart up there, it'll be all over the place.
So now Luke Huon will take strike number 1. Again, Jake Jordan, similar to Sean Peck, able to deliver on strike number 1. If I don't have the official number on it, but a lot of these at-bats have been first pitch strikes. So the start is there. Now it's about working the rest of the count, continuing to be confident in the kind of stuff that you have, and being able to consistently deliver those strikes like we've seen in the wins that the Copperheads have had recently.
Exactly, Tim. Pitching is like a story. It has to have a beginning, a middle, and the end. You got to get a strike in each one of those sections in order to be successful.
And we really have seen an improvement over the last probably week or so, I think, from this pitching staff. It's been a lot less walks, and that's a start for sure for this team. And I know Coach Lanning and Coach Harris are very happy about the limited number of walks, but now they've got to continue to work that and pound the zone, and that will lead to striking guys out. All the pitchers we talked to are, finally starting to get comfortable, getting back into the groove of things, as most of these guys had about a month off before this season started, and the starters only play about every 4 or 5 days. So it can be difficult, especially when you don't have a ton of time to practice with travel and things like that. You don't get a lot of time to maybe get in the bullpen and do some work. That's why off days like this, or off days like yesterday and these next couple of days, are going to be critical for this team to kind of not only mentally reset, but work on some things. I know Bam Thomas had a couple of things he was talking to us about, trying to kind of work on and just see maybe if that adjustment will help. And there's a shot out to center field. Ratliff underneath it to make the play for the second out. And John will retreat back to first base. So now 2 outs.
Yeah, when we look at the totals for today, the Copperheads, they do have more strikeouts than walks. 3 strikeouts to 2 walks as a pitching staff.
Something, again, you can look at as a positive. And there's another first pitch strike to Hayden Christensen.
Christensen with a single, and then he also got out in the 3rd inning.
0-1 on that inside part of the plate, or ball number 1. Oh, and 1 here, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning, runner on first. Cincinnati Steam lead this one 6-0. There's a shot to right field. Crump underneath it to make the play for the 3rd out. So the first scoreless inning for the Cincinnati Steam today, and now the Copperheads will need to get the bats out as we'll go back to the top of the lineup. Trey Rucker, Mason Nadolny, and Kyle Ratliff will try to awaken these bats here at Bob Wren. You're listening to Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. back here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Bottom of the fourth inning presented by Ohio Health. So we're back to the top of the lineup here at Bob Wren Stadium. Cincinnati Steam lead at 6-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Trey Rucker trying to awaken these bats as the Copperheads do not have a hit yet on the day into this fourth inning. Last Saturday, when the Cincinnati Steam were in town for that big weekend, I believe it was June 18th, when the Cincinnati Steam were here, Copperheads were no hit into the seventh inning. So trying to avoid that again. It's a 1-1 count to Trey Rucker. Marlowe having an excellent day on the hill in this one. 6 strikeouts and no walks. 1-2 pitch to Trey Rucker is high, so it'll be 2-2 to Trey Rucker.
Yeah, of the 9 runners that have, or 9 batters rather, that have come up to bat for the Copperheads, 6 of them were struck out.
Trey Rucker sends that one out into left center field. Tommy Thaman underneath it, collects it, and records the first out.
Yep, the outfielders have pretty much gotten the chill so far throughout the first 3 innings. That's the first ball to go out into the outfield all day.
Fly out to William John to get the game started, and then a couple of hard hit balls over to Klasner over at second. But yeah, first ball into the outfield today. Nadolny, the first pitch, in there for a strike again on that inside part of the plate. Umpire seems to be favoring that inside part of the plate for both teams. We've seen Jake Jordan get a couple of those calls, Sean Peck get a couple of those calls, and Jacob Marlowe as well. So I guess if the strike zone is going to be a little bit skewed, as long as it's consistent for both teams, as there's a throw from Luke Hammond over to John at first to make the play. 2 outs. And Kyle Ratliff will try to get things started now. That's 11 straight batters, though, for the Copperheads, who desperately need to get a hit here just to re-spark the energy in the building, I think.
Of course, I feel like a lot of the fans, even though, of course, with any game in the GLSCL, a lot of people are here for fun, just to enjoy a game, no matter what happens, the results. But I know a lot of people are looking here to at least get something going.
One hop over to Hammond, and the throw is in time to first base. The Copperheads will go 1-2-3 again here in this inning, and are starting to run out of time in this one. Need to get things going. When we return, it will be Harrison Barnes, Luke Hammond, and Jeffrey Butler for the Cincinnati Steam. You're listening to Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Back here in the top of the 5th inning. Top of the 5th inning brought to you by Jackie O's. Copperheads fans over the age of 21 highly recommend trying out that Homer's Hazy IPA, specially made beverage for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. So thank you to Jackie O's for partnering us. And Harrison Barnes now ahead in the count, 2-0. Here in the top of the 5th. Cincinnati Steam lead it 6-0. And Jacob Marlowe currently with a no-hitter through 4 innings. Jordan delivers. Check swing. Said he went. So 2-1 for Harrison Barnes.
Harrison Barnes, the baseball player with the same name as the basketball player, former player for the Warriors, has a walk and a single to his name.
Jordan shoots that one over to Nadolny, backhands it. The throw over to Class. Not in time. That throw kind of pulled him off the bag a little bit. And not able to reel that one back in, so that will likely be scored as an error. We'll see what they say here. But nonetheless, Harrison Barnes on first base, and Luke Huon, the hot dog hitter, or rather Luke Hammond, the hot dog hitter. So strikeout here means dollar dogs at the ballpark. Throw back over to Barnes at first, not in time. Keeping him honest. Runner on first, and no outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
Of course, throughout this season, we're always going to watch that third base to first base throw, as that's always one of the toughest throws to be able to make. And that time it was just a little bit off the mark at that last at-bat.
Tough play on that one, too, as Nadolny kind of had to backhand that one a little bit, coming across a little bit closer towards second, where he was positioned, and had to come back over to third. So good play to keep that ball from maybe escaping out into the outfield, where it would have been difficult for Trey Rucker to make the play. Throw back over to first, not in time. But an 0-1 count to the hot dog hitter, Luke Hammond. Crowd here wants their dollar dogs, and Jake Jordan will try to help him out. The 0-2 or the 0-1 is popped up into the stands here at Bob Wren. Couple of rows of bleachers and fans going home with a souvenir. So 0-2, and just one more strike needed to get that hot dog hitter.
Yep, this is where the crowd's really going to get pumped up right here. You got a lot of people clapping. About the loudest it's been so far this game. To get everybody on their feet.
Jake Jordan will look on. Dollar dogs are on the line. The 0-2 just missed it. So 1-2, and he'll get another chance here.
Big shout out to our energetic vice president, Annie Valent, who's there leading the charge for the cheers.
1-2. Just low, so 2-2 now. And the crowd is ready for their dollar dogs. Jordan looks on, throws back to first, got him in a bit of a pickle now. The rundown. Class will hustle. Maverick Stallings. Jordan Long makes the tag. Got him for out number 1. So they catch him in a bit of a pickle. And really good communication, Sedric, by Maverick Stallings, Jordan Long, and Mitch Class to get the out there.
Of course, Tim, we've seen a lot of mistakes this year from every team in the GLSCL on that sort of situation. We saw Kyle Ratliff Houdini his way out of it against the Mariners. So, again, playing good, disciplined baseball where you're communicating, you're making sure that someone's there to cover each base. You're going to win that situation 9 times out of 10, and they did a great job there. Really
solid throws, too, from everybody. The 2-2 pitch, just low, and Luke Hammond has worked this one full after going down 0-2. So the hot dog hitter will get one more chance here. Jake Jordan gets the sign, winds, kicks, deals. shot to Nadolny, makes the catch for out number 2. So no dollar dogs, but the out is made. And we've got 2 out here in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, just like that, the Copperheads have put together a couple of pretty solid innings of fielding and pitching. Now, there's still one more out to get left in here, but for Jake Jordan, you can tell he's starting to settle into this game pretty well.
It appears we've got a lightning delay here. Figure out what's going on. So we'll take a short break as the Copperheads are headed back to the dugout now.
This game's been postponed due to lightning in the area.
So
Please evacuate the concourse.
take a quick break, and when we find out more information, we'll hop back on the stream to let you guys know what will be going on. This is Copperheads Baseball on YouTube.
I'd like to make a quick update here as the delay has gone to at least 325 as they are still evaluating here the weather and what's up next for the Copperheads. They're down 6-0 against the Cincinnati Steam, and we hope to have some baseball ahead of us today as the weather is looking dicey, as I said before in the opening innings. But once again, we have a weather delay that will take us to at least 325. Regret to inform you guys, we have had another lightning streak that hit not too far away from the stadium. So it'll be another 30 minutes before this game starts, at least. So every time there's a lightning strike, I believe the rule is there's at least 30 minutes that you have to delay the game until you don't see lightning throughout that stretch. So Copperheads down 6-0 to the Cincinnati Steam. And I'm pretty confident that this game probably will not go on, but we'll stay with it, hoping, crossing our fingers that this game can at least make it to 5 innings. If so, then they can call it finalized. But for the Copperheads, I think it'd be nice if they get a nice rest right here and then can maybe play the rest of this game on another day. But we'll see. Listen to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube.
Back here after a short rain delay, Southern Ohio Copperheads currently trail the Cincinnati Steam 6-0. The Steam actually, Sedric, have a no-hitter going through 4 innings right now. You want to give us a quick update on how the game's been going up to this point?
Yeah, it's been a very tough out for the Copperheads thus far, as Marlowe has 6 strikeouts on the day, and again, that's half of all the batters that have been able to come up here for the Copperheads. They've had 12 at-bats. All of them have been retired thus far in the game, of course, for the no-hitter. On the other side, for the offense for the Cincinnati Steam, Tommy Thaman first scored on an RBI single from Brennan Rowe. Then Brennan Rowe scored on an RBI single from Hayden Christensen. Actually, make that William John, rather. And Luke Huen ended up driving in William John. So we'll mix that up. We'll reset that. Okay, so it's Tommy Thaman. They scored a lot of runs here. Tommy Thaman scored on a RBI single from Brennan Rowe. Then we saw an RBI single from Luke Huen scoring Brennan Rowe. And then an RBI single from Hayden Christensen, which is fitting because there's Star Wars music going on. And that ended up scoring William John. So sorry for that little confusion there. There was a trio of runs in the first inning. Then in the second inning, we saw an RBI double from William John scoring Brennan Rowe yet again. Then in the third inning, we saw Harrison Barnes and Luke Hammond. They were able to score off of a 2 RBI single from Tommy Thaman. So that's how they got to 6 runs. And they haven't scored in the 4th and 5th inning, so Jordan came in, did a great job. But there should be a new pitcher on the mound because whenever we have long breaks like this, they're going to have to put in a new pitcher.
I believe we'll see Andrew Yeary out on the mound, and looks like things are getting ready to get started. So stick with us, folks. We appreciate you all staying around as the Copperheads are getting ready to take the field. We'll return in a couple of moments with the remainder of this game. Alrighty, folks, we're back here after that weather delay. And number 29, Jeffrey Butler, hitting out of that number 9 spot, will be the first up to bat as this game resumes. First pitch from Andrew Yeary in there for a strike.
Jeffrey Butler, this is his first at bat, I believe, as Josh Hegeman was ejected from the game earlier.
Quickly down 0-2. Yeary trying to make quick work of his afternoon. The 0-2 pitch. Just missing that inside part of the plate for ball number 1. Andrew Yeary, Addison State Community College, coming in for Jake Jordan after the break. The 1-2 slips off Friesen's glove. It'll be 2-2.
The conditions out there are definitely going to be a little bit slicker as they try to do their best to keep everything nice and dry with the baseballs, but the field is definitely a little bit saturated.
2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. One quick out, and Andrew Yeary comes in, takes care of business here in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, it's a nice little reset button, getting to have a nice little break. And the Copperheads, they'll be able to go in this game as long as there's no more storms here. And for this game to be called official, they have to make it through the 5th inning. And if there's another delay, then that will be the game. But for the Copperheads, with the steam being so on fire before the weather delay, maybe this could throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into their batting right now.
We'll see if the Copperheads use that break to maybe get themselves right mentally again, get ready for this. We'll see Gunnar Aldridge, Maverick Stallings, and Jordan Long, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. When we return, you're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Back here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom of the 5th inning presented by Steak and Shake. Gunnar Aldrich will be the man to try and get the first hit of the day. Really the first on-base appearance, actually, for the Copperheads all day. Jacob Marlowe was perfect through 4 innings, and now Joey Perkins will come in and try and continue to do the same thing. First pitch from Perkins in there for a strike.
Gunnar Aldridge grounded out in the 2nd inning, 2nd at-bat.
Second pitch hits the turf even before the batting circle. Skips up into the glove of Luke Huon for ball number 1.
Yeah, did you see the way that ball hit the ground, Tim? I mean, that's field. I feel like there's a lot of water in that, and that kind of like almost made it die.
Saw some of the turf people, or the field management people rather, going out and kind of raking up those rubber beads in the turf to make sure that the field is in good enough condition to continue playing this game. So great work by those guys to, great job by those guys to keep this game going, as well as all the staff here. And of course our loyal fans stuck around to watch this game. As Gunnar Aldrich is in a 3-1 count right now, trying to get on base for the first time in this game. The 3-1 pitch swung on and missed. So it will load the count for Gunnar Aldrich.
Yep, working against Joey Perkins from Lebanon, Ohio, not too far outside of Cincinnati. Has 1 appearance on the year and had to pitch 2 innings against the Settlers.
Payoff pitch is chopped foul. Over to first base coach Bam Thomas, getting those duties today.
As a trio of strikeouts on the season, no walks for Joey Perkins, the 6'3" senior.
Payoff pitch. Skipped down the line, and Gunnar Aldrich will be the first Copperhead on base in this game.
So perfect game, no more for the pitching staff of the Cincinnati Steam. Now it's time to try to end the no-hitter for the Copperheads.
Still waiting on that first hit. As you mentioned, Sedric Maverick Stallings will step into the box and try and get it done. Stallings on the day, ground out to second as well. He and Aldrich went back-to-back groundouts to Drew Klasner over there at second. Ball skips up. Houlihan keeps it in front of him, and Aldrich remains at first. 1-0 for Stallings.
One good thing for the Copperheads, with Marlowe going down out of this game, the last time that the Steam had to turn to their bullpen, the Copperheads took advantage of it up there in that neutral site action in Richmond. And that ended up allowing the Copperheads to put up 8 runs in that 15-8 loss to the Steam. But it goes to show that if the Copperheads can put up 6 runs once the backups come in and once the bullpen guys start to get working, maybe they can find something here in the bottom of the 5th inning against a new pitcher.
Getting something going here is going to be critical for this team. New pitcher comes in. Had that bit of that break, too, so you're able to maybe, if your body wasn't right during those first couple innings, had a chance to kind of recover a little bit. As Stallings will chop that one to third. Throw over to first is in time, but Gunnar Aldrich will advance up to second. Stallings will be sent down.
So even that's a productive at-bat here for the Copperheads. Even though we see Maverick Stallings go down, at least advancing a runner 1 step closer to scoring position is huge.
Second base puts Gunnar Aldrich in scoring position for Jordan Long. Jordan Long this year hitting .222. 2 for 4 the other day against the Hamilton Joes. First pitch in there for a strike.
The 2 for 4 doesn't even tell the whole story. He had a situation where it would have been a base hit. I think he missed the sign against that coach Lanning gave to him, and he tried to get to third, and he ended up being picked off. But still, against Josh Lazier, one of the best pitchers in the GLSEL, Jordan Long fared very well.
And that was a hard hit ball out there to the outfield. Really close play on the triple. Might have got a little greedy, but it was a well-hit ball. And so, nonetheless, Jordan Long another one of those guys that can, one swing of the bat can open up this game, and I think a hard hit ball into the gap in the outfield likely scores Gunnar Aldrich. Long will go down on strikes, so that will bring Mitch Class up to the plate, guy that knows how to get on base.
It's surprising not seeing him work it into a full count. He was really close. It was a 2-2 count before he struck out.
Speaking of full counts, Mitch Class with 8 walks on the year. Saw it a few times in the game against the Joes the other day. Had it 0-2 and then was able to claw back in those 2-2, 3-2 counts to really keep himself in it.
Now another dynamic that happens here at this game, Tim, is Copperheads, if they get out of this inning without tying the game up, it might end up them being a race against the weather. If we see another lightning bolt or anything like that, that could be the end of the game, especially if it's through 5 innings.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So that'll be strike number 2 for Mitch Class, who's now down 0-2, 2 outs. Gunnar Aldrich on first base, courtesy of a walk. Perkins delivers the 0-2, chopped up to the mound. Throw down to first is in time. Huen makes the play for out number 3. And Sedric, as you talked about, now we've completed 5 innings in this game, and any weather delay now could likely result in the end of this game. So keep that in the back of your head, and I'm sure it's in the minds of the players and Coach Lanning, and try to keep this game going. When we return, it'll be the top of the 6th inning. We will see the top of the order again: Tommy Thaman, Drew Klasner, and Brennan Rowe. You're listening to Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. Back here in the top of the 6th inning. Top of the 6th is presented by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Back here in the top of the 6th inning, Copperheads still trail by 6 to the Cincinnati Steam. Andrew Yeary Back here inside the broadcast booth. This game has gone final here, so Cincinnati's team will end this game with a victory, 8-0. Copperheads do get no hit, unfortunately. So tough break today, really all around, Sedric.
Yes, it was. It's just, again, the game started earlier, 8 o'clock game, where you're thinking you could probably get an extra hour of sleep, and then the morning of the game, you probably had to have your coach come in and be like, hey, time to get up. We have a game that starts an hour earlier now, and that makes it really tricky on the players. And then, of course, the Cincinnati team, they just had the Copperheads number so far this season. I mean, in each game, they put up at least 8 runs, they allowed 8 in the first game, but ever since then, they only allowed 2 runs in the second and none in the third. So, again, tough break for the Copperheads. They're going to have to defeat this team if they're going to want to move up in the standings. They're going to get 2 more matchups against them. One of them is going to be on the 4th of July. There also will be another one that they'll get to have the Cincinnati's team at home here at Bobberin Stadium. So the Copperheads will definitely have to ignite the bats. But over these last couple of games, Tim, they just have not been able to get a lot of hits. That's just been the roughest thing is, again, the pitching's been a little bit better, but that's something where the bats are going to have to come alive to match it up. But with now, this loss is a real tough one because now they're 5-10, and in the standings, Cincinnati's team, they move up to 8-9. They break their 6-game losing streak. Cincinnati's team were the 6th-place team, so that puts the Copperheads about 3 or 4 games out of 6th place. So it makes it rough. But on the good side is that at least if you get to that spot where you're back in the mix, you're not that far from first, because first and second place right now is only separated by 2 games. First and 6th place, rather, only separated by 2 games.
Copperheads, the first team, 2-10 losses in the GLSCL, so kind of have to work themselves back out of this little slump that we're in. And obviously, you're right. The bats need to kind of show back up, and I think these 2 rest days coming up are going to be huge for this team. They're going to get a couple small practice sessions in, work on some things that they've noticed in their game through these first 15 games, and so they'll be able to kind of work on that kind of stuff and use these to kind of full physically reset. We saw how this team responded after the off day in week 1, came out, got things done against the Richmond Jazz, who they'll face again coming off their off day on Wednesday.
Of course. And I think that'll be a great opportunity for the guys to get rested. We know the mentality of these guys. They're not the types where if there's been some losses for them to give up. There's a lot of players that know how to work through adversity. And this is a big test. They'll get to work through an adverse situation. Things aren't necessarily going well. You maybe have the crowd start chirping at you to try to get something going. And it's kind of a gut check moment in the season. So Copperheads, this is their chance to be able to take a breather, relax, maybe have an off day, and then get back to work. They'll have lots of opportunities. The season still has so many games left. And again, I have a lot of faith in this squad that they can be able to put it together. And then, of course, just at the end of the day, just want every player to really improve at the skills that they're weakest at. And we want to see that growth from game 1 all the way to the finish. So, again, it's like, if you think of the Star Wars movies, you have a movie where it introduces something in honor of a player named Hayden Christensen playing today on this team. You have your first movie where it kind of introduces things. We kind of introduce the team. Now they're going through their Empire Strikes Back period where things are maybe rougher. You're not getting as many wins. It's been tough. And then at the end, you hope that you get a Return of the Jedi moment where they're able to close off the season pretty hot and they're able to go out on top as well. So, again, long season. There's many chapters to it. And we'll see if there are better chapters ahead for the Copperheads.
We will have that game for you in Richmond on Wednesday. So for all of us here at the Copperheads, Sedric, Granger, my wonderful co-host Ethan Sargent on the PA, Skylar Watts on social media. I'm Tim Hanna. Thank you for watching. We will see you all on Wednesday.